Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I want to talk about a little article my coworker wrote. Shout out hoopshype.com, Michael Scotto, my boy. Link in the description if you guys want to read this. But basically, it's basically an article about where will D'Angelo Russell end up this summer. He prefers to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers, which is the team that actually drafted him and traded for him in a weird way. But if you guys did not know, Los Angeles Lakers guard D'Angelo Russell is showcasing the best basketball of his career. He's averaged 18.2 points, 6.4 assists, and 3.1 rebounds in 66 games this year. This season, Russell's shooting 42.3% from three-point range, which ranks third among players in the NBA's top 25 in made threes per game. Now, with an upcoming decision on his $18.7 million player option for the 24-25 season, Russell's considered one of the top free agents on the market should he decline the option and become an unrestricted free agent. D'Angelo Russell could attract interest from several teams in need of a point guard during free agency this summer. So I want to hear your thoughts down below before we continue. What do you guys think of D'Angelo Russell? Are you guys here for it? Are you guys against it? I really think we were seeing the most consistent version of himself. He's actually more efficient than he was as a scorer, shooter, than he was with the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, his facilitating isn't at that level due to the fact that he's playing with LeBron James and there's no need to facilitate. But let's go ahead and talk about potential teams he can go to, with the first team being the Los Angeles Lakers, the one that he'll remain with potentially. So the Lakers are obviously going to be well over the salary cap and a tax-paying team heading to the summer unless Russell and LeBron James decline their player option and leave as free agents, which is highly unlikely. I want to hear your thoughts before we continue. What do you guys think of D'Angelo Russell? Would you guys pay him? How much is he worth? Etc., etc. Let me hear those thoughts in the comment section. Like and subscribe as we're on the way to 20,000 subscribers. Now, leaving Los Angeles, the taxpayer mid-level exception and minimum salaries to fill their roster this offseason if LeBron James and Russell stay. Now, when asked about his thoughts on free agency, Russell told Hoopshype that he would love to remain a Laker, that he likes what they have here. He likes the other side, he's been on the roller coasters for side of free agency, and that he's just really liked coming out here, how it's been played out and playing out how it's supposed to be. So he set a new Lakers single season record for three-pointers made, 192 and counting this season. Russell has played well for the Lakers at the end of games when it matters most. In past, he was actually being benched at the end of the games. He's made 37.5% of the Lakers' clutch time three-pointers, and the Lakers are also plus 22.2 per 100 possessions better with Russell on the floor during clutch minutes. Now, should Russell decline, we've talked about this before, he's going to be a guy that the Lakers would seemingly want back given his strong play this season, though the team's little wiggle room to replace his production and projected salary slot. Otherwise, he might return. But nonetheless, if other teams who do have point guard openings or desire to get better at, he could be gone if another team with better financial ability is willing to make something happen. Now, that team could be, if we're looking, the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic could potentially have $50 to $60 million in cap space, as Hoopshype's Mark Deeks outlined in a previous article. Paul Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs are on rookie-scale contracts. Wendell Carter Jr. is on a team-friendly deal. Rival executives believe that the Magic are a team to monitor this offseason and make a notable upgrade and improve their shooting. Should Orlando have interest in Russell during the free agency, he could play on or off ball, as he has shown with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That the same thing he could do alongside Paolo Banchero, Wagner, and Suggs. Russell's shooting 44.5% on catch-and-shoot threes and is averaging 1.25 points per possession on spot-up shots. The 28-year-old has been efficient beyond the arc from either corner spot at 44% from the left corner, 41.7% from the right corner as a floor spacer. Such shooting efficiency would open up the lanes for Paolo Banchero and Wagner as playmakers. Now, if we move on to another team, that will be the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are projected to have between $20 to $26 million in cap space per Hoopshype's Mark Deeks. While San Antonio is rebuilding, the Spurs have the flexibility to improve the roster and to be more competitive around Victor Wembanyama, who has lived up to the hype and more as is the expected rookie of the year. The Jeremy Sohan point guard experiment failed and was too inconsistent. Now, Trey Jones is better suited as a defensive pass-first elite backup point guard than as a somewhat inconsistent starting guard. that leaves the possibility for San Antonio to consider signing and paying for a more trusted and consistent floor general, which is a weird way to call D'Angelo Russell, as someone who could space the floor and operate for Victor Wembanyama. Jones is shooting career best 33.8% from downtown, as well as Sohan is shooting 30.9%. That was another career best from downtown, but they're still underwhelming overall as floor spacers. The Spurs could decide if the 28-year-old Russell would be worthwhile as a stopgap and overpay him, or a long-term fit if they can give him a nice contract. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? That's not that bad. Now, the final team is the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz have theoretically $41 million in cap space, but there are caveats. As Hoopsite Mark Dees recently wrote, particularly with Lauri Markkanen eligible and expected to discuss a potential renegotiation and extension, as previously reported by Hoopsite. Since trading Mike Conley, Utah has consistently replaced his playmaking and shooting. Combo guards Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson were both reportedly on the trade block ahead of the deadline, and the team has since prioritized the development of rookie guard Keontae George, who's more of a combo guard with swing man-like tendencies. The Utah Jazz will have to decide if Keontae George is going to be their floor general or if he's more of a combo guard than the floor general of the future. If they're ready to part with one or both Sexton and Clarkson this offseason, then our man Mr. D'Angelo Russell would be a great guy for them to fit next to Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen and John Collins. For 2 straight seasons, the Utah Jazz have acted as sellers at the trade deadlines, leaving rival executives to wonder when the management will look to strike and add more talent to its young core. Currently, the approach appears to be more patient than wanting to strike while the iron is hot. Now, with that being said, I think the interesting thing is we're seeing that D'Angelo Russell, what are you getting with him at this point in his career? I still think he's a fantastic player who can bring you value. It all comes down to how old or how much are you wanting to pay him, because he is someone that is a bit volatile in his production. And is he only doing this because he's in Los Angeles? We've seen him as someone who is a Timberwolves fan. I saw him in Minnesota. It wasn't great, but he is a guy who's a creative ball handler and can score and often takes audacious shots. He'll hit them at a rate that makes him acceptable, attracts a lot of attention while running the offense, which allows him to distribute the ball at a good level. He's gotten better at defense, but he still, is sometimes a cone, and he can shoot his teams into wins, but he can also shoot them into losses. He's shown that he can be a consistent starter, but maybe he's better as a guy off the bench. That's basically my thoughts right there on the whole D'Angelo Russell situation. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, but yeah, I think it's an interesting caveat, to say the least, but that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to finish this mimosa and enjoy my time on the beach. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening, and let me know your thoughts on D'Angelo Russell as a prospect, or I guess free agent. I don't know. Goodbye.